Hi everyone. Hello. Today we are doing 50 synthesis and transformation and Compre Cloze question. Okay, so this is actually our ebook, one of our products, right? 1000 PSL is synthesis and transformation practices. Okay, so if you are curious on how we can get to this page, you can follow us through the link in bio, right? You can head to our main TikTok page, right, where you can see, and you click on our link in bio, which can direct you to this page over here. Afterwards, you can scroll down to our ebook store, or you can head to our shop, right, and browse our ebooks collection over here. Okay, so we have a lot of ebooks for you to look through. Primary to secondary school students can all find something that is useful to them. Okay, so today we are actually doing this 1000 PSLE synthesis and transformation questions, along with another 50 comprehension cloze questions. Right, so yes, let's go to this over here. Okay, so let's start off with the first question over here. Right, Frank is a famous badminton player in Singapore. His mother sells chicken rice every morning. Okay, so whose, right, is the conjunction we are trying to use to connect the two sentences. So for synthesis and transformation, we have to use the connector to connect the two sentences that they give us in a more simplified form. Right, it's to tidy up and change the sequence of the sentence such that it's better. Okay, so anyone has any answer for question number 1? Right, Frank is a badminton player in Singapore. Right, we are using whose to connect these two sentences. Okay, we have Frank and his mother. Okay, hi everyone, welcome. We are doing 50 synthesis and transformation along with comprehension cloze questions from our ebook 1000 series. Okay, so if you are curious on how to purchase this, you can head to our Podia website, right, our ebook store. Okay, so let's just start off with question number 1. Okay, so using whose, it means that something belongs to the subject of the question over here, right? So Frank is the subject because both of the information over here, right, both of these are information with regards to Frank. So Frank, comma, right, Frank, comma, whose mother sells chicken rice every morning. Is a famous badminton player in Singapore. Okay, so over here, Frank, whose mother sells chicken rice every morning, is a famous badminton player in Singapore. Okay, we cannot say that Frank, who's a famous badminton player, that does not make sense because the subject is the mother is actually Frank's mother, right? Something that is belongs to him, right? Not say it's as a belonging as an object, but the mother is the subject that is related to Frank over here in this question. Therefore, we have to draw the connection. So by using whose, we shorten the sentence and change the sequence of it. So this is how synthesis and transformation work. So for those lower primary students who are interested in actually how upper primary students' English paper would look like, yes, you will have 5 synthesis and transformation questions in your PSLE paper too. And these 5 synthesis and transformations hold very heavy marks, right? Each question holds 2 marks. Okay, so it's very important for you to actually try to score as much as you can for these questions. Rigors, oh, PSLE. Yes, this is PSLE, synthesis and transformation practice. Okay, giving you some core memories of doing your PSLE paper, or for those of you who are still revising for your PSLE, right? Join us in practicing this together. You can purchase this ebook as well if you are interested to do it as a revision. Right, I recommend to have revision to do your revision early than late. Right, start your revision in P5. It's the best time to actually get your foundation down. Okay, so let's do question 2 together. Right, Jane has a test which begins in half an hour's time. Jane is still in bed. Okay, so we use the connector but to connect these 2 sentences over here, right? So how do we connect? Okay, for this sentence, right? Which subject is repeated? Okay, Jane is repeated. So Jane is a repeated subject. So we have to remember we try not to repeat things when we are doing synthesis and transformations. Okay, so does anyone have the correct answer for this sentence over here? Right, I'll give you some time to type out your sentence below before I review the final answer. Okay, does anyone want to try answering question number 2? Jane has a test which begins in half an hour's time. Jane is still in bed. Okay, we use the connector but, right? Showing a slight contrast, right? Even though it's happening soon, she's still in bed. So how do we connect these 2 sentences with a but? Okay, Malini says Jane is still in bed as she has a test which begins in half an hour. Malini, we have to use the word but over here in answering the question. Okay, for synthesis and transformation, the question gives you a connector to use to connect the 2 sentences, but that's a good attempt in using the word as to connect the 2 sentences. Would you like to try again? Right, let's try using the word but. Okay, we use this word over here, but. Oh, no worries, Malini. Yes. Okay, you can try answering the sentence again with the word but. Okay, but I see your train of thought is in the correct direction, right? You just need to use the correct conjunction that is given. Jane has a test which begins in half an hour, but she is still in bed. Very good. Okay, yes, that is correct. Okay, so Jane has a test which begins in half an hour's time. But we use she to replace the repeated Jane. Okay, so we don't repeat the Jane again, but she is still in bed. Okay, so even though she has a test coming up soon, it feels like she's not prepared for it. Okay, hi cosmic powers. Okay, so let's go on to question number 3. Greg was angry with Jonathan. Jonathan broke his favorite toy car when he tripped over it. Okay, so this his over here is referring to Greg. Okay, and we are using for as a conjunction in this question over here. So any clue what is the answer to this question over here? Right, any clue? Okay, Greg was angry with Jonathan. Jonathan broke his favorite toy car when he tripped over it. Okay, so what would the answer be, right, when we are using the word for to connect these two sentences? Right, so by using the word for to connect the two sentences, the answer will be Greg was angry with Jonathan for breaking his favorite toy car when he tripped over it. Okay, so using the correct sentence structure is able to connect these two sentences with just one conjunction. Okay, so let's write it down. Greg was angry with Jonathan for breaking his favorite toy car when he tripped over it. Okay, for breaking his favorite toy car when he tripped over it. So that is the main idea for this question over here. Remember to start the sentence with a capital letter and follow the names given. Okay, please do not change any of the spellings that they gave you. Right, but you can change the tense or the word form of each word if it suits the tense of what your conjunction is giving you. Right, so for this question, since it is using the word for to connect the words, we have to change broke to breaking. Okay, let's go on to the next question over here. You must concentrate on the music, you will be able to enjoy it. Okay, so unless this is a very commonly tested conjunction, right? A very commonly tested PSLE question for conjunctions for synthesis and transformation. So unless it's a very commonly used word, and anyone wants to try answering question number 4. Okay, using the word unless, let's try doing question number 4 together. Okay, unless something, right? Unless you do something. Okay, so unless you concentrate. Okay, so we do not need a must anymore. We can remove the word must. Okay, unless you concentrate on the music. What is the second half of the sentence? What would the second half of the sentence be? Okay, unless you concentrate on the music, you will enjoy it. There's a slight error in this sentence, right? At the second half of the sentence, are you sure it will be you will, right? So unless, what does unless mean? What does unless represent? Okay, does anyone know what unless represents? Okay, unless actually means if you don't, right? Or if not. Okay, so if you replace unless with if you don't, okay, replacing this with if you don't. So if you don't concentrate on the music, you will not be able to enjoy it. Okay, is this clearer? Right? Unless replacing it with if you don't, right? So if you don't concentrate on the music, you are unable to enjoy it. That is the main point of using the word unless. Okay, so you cannot say that if you don't concentrate on the music, you will be able to enjoy it. That will be wrong. OMG, I wanted to type that. Yes, Malini, in exams, right, we might actually confuse ourselves and second doubt our answers and think that, oh, maybe this is the correct answer instead, and we end up losing the 2 marks, right? So, yes, this is actually quite tricky for some of you, right? So, this is a good way to actually help yourself when you are checking your answers. So, if you are unsure, try to replace the word unless with if you don't. Okay, so later on, if we actually encounter another question using unless, you can actually try again. Right, so let's look at question number 5. Mr. Yong was very grateful to Sergeant Harry for recovering his stolen car. Mr. Yong gave Sergeant Harry a reward. Okay, so to express his gratitude, this is a very unique starting for a synthesis and transformation question, right? So anything that is repeated in these sentences over here. Okay, we know Mr. Yong, Sergeant Harry, Mr. Yong and Sergeant Harry. Okay, these are the repeated content in this question over here. So how do we do this question, right? To express his gratitude. So this is already replacing very grateful, right? So any idea on how to do question number 5? Right, to express his gratitude, right? To express his gratitude, we have to say the action first, right? So, Mr. Yong gives Sergeant Harry a reward for recovering his stolen car. Yes, very good, Malini. Right, that is the correct answer. So, Mr. Yong gave Sergeant Harry a reward for recovering his stolen car. Okay, so this is the correct answer and sentence structure for this question. Good attempt. Okay, so let's go on to the next question over here. Jane was trying to get the boy out of the pool. She lost her grip on the boy's hand. Okay, was trying and she lost her grip on the boy's hand. So we use the word when, right? When to connect the two sentences. So when means that it is happening, right? During the period of time. So when you see the word when, what should the answer be for this sentence over here. Okay? When, it just means that at that point in time, this thing happened, right? Okay, Jane was trying to get the boy out of the pool. She lost her grip on the boy's head. Hey, Jane lost her grip on the boy's hand when she was trying to get the boy out of the pool. Okay, that is a valid answer. So she lost her grip. Okay, I can accept that answer as well, right? So Jane lost her grip on the boy's hand when she was trying to get the boy out. Okay, so for this question, there's actually another possible answer for this, right? So you can actually switch it around, right? You can also say that Jane was trying to get the boy out of the pool when she lost her grip on the boy's hand. Okay, so this is the correct answer. For the accepted answer for this question, I can accept these two variations. Okay, so let's go on to the next question over here. Alright, people accept the truth of my story. It is unlikely I will come out of hiding. Okay, unless we see this word once again, Malini, I believe you are able to answer this question confidently after we have done the previous one in the previous practice, right? So let's try this question together. Here, I give you some time. Okay, try answering this question by using the trick that we discussed earlier. Okay, learned a trick on answering the question with regards to unless. Okay, unless we can replace with if they don't. Right? So we are referring to the people. That's why I changed it to they. Okay, take your time to think and try to attempt the question. Okay, so I give you a hint, right? Unless people accept the truth of my story. Okay, unless they accept the truth of my story. Yes, Malini, that's the right track. Okay, the honored one. Unless people accept the truth of my story, I will not come out of hiding. Okay, that's a right train of thought, the honored one. However, maybe for this case, we try not to change the whole context of the sentence that much. We can still keep the word unlikely, right? So it is unlikely. It is unlikely. Okay, it is unlikely that I will come out of hiding. Okay, so we keep the context of it is unlikely, right? We don't need to change this information over here. I am unable to come out of my hiding. Okay, great. I see that both of you are able to be on a good train of thought, which is to be on the negative side. You don't say that, oh, unless they accept the truth, I will come out of hiding, right? You can still say that it is unlikely or I am unable. That is the correct way. So this is the negative portion, right? Let's go on to question number 3. Jenna did well in her English test. Her mother was proud of her. Okay, so Jenna's mother was... Okay, this is a slightly more straightforward question, right? Her mother was... Jenna's mother was proud of her as she did well in her English test. Yes, that is the correct answer, right? So she was proud of her as she did well in her English test. Okay, so this is Jenna. Okay, we do not need to repeat it. So here. Moving on to question number 4. My father was caught in the traffic jam. He was late for work yesterday. So after. Okay, now we see a new conjunction over here. After. So what happened first and what happened after? Right? So we have to identify the two things that is happening. So which is the action that happened first, right? So this is the first thing that happened and this comes after, right? So we have to say that this is the first thing over here. So first action and second action, right? After. So you know that 2 comes after 1, right? So this is how we can sort the question out. Okay, 2 comes after 1. So let's try this question. My father was late for work after he was caught in the traffic jam. Okay, close, very close, right? So my father was late. Oh my. Okay, was late for work yesterday. Okay, because we keep the whole sentence structures over here, right? We don't miss out any information, so we still have to include the word yesterday. So after being caught in the traffic jam. Okay, but a good try, right? It's very close to the correct model answer over here, right? So let's go to the next question. Amy rushed out of the library. She did not take her books. Okay, without, right? Without can replace did not. Okay, so let's try to answer this question together. This is a pretty straightforward question, right? By using the connector without. Amy rushed out of the library without taking her books. Yes, that's correct, right? Amy rushed out of the library without taking her books. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Let's go to the next question over here. Right, so both the students failed their test. Okay, so now neither of. This is failing the test, so this is the negative one. Right, so now neither of is negative as well. Okay, so what would the answer be? Okay, neither of blank. Right, so both the students failed their test. So neither of the students passed their test. Yes, very good. So we change it to passing because this is negative, right? This is the positive. So we change this to negative and this to positive instead, right? Very good. So neither of the students passed their test. Okay, let's go on to the next question over here. Question number 2. Right, the police have taken the stolen loot as evidence of the crime. So the stolen loot. Right, the stolen loot. What would the answer be? Right. Okay, so the police have taken this loot. Right, so the stolen loot was taken. Okay, very good change of sentence structure. Right. However, because this is have taken, right, have taken, so therefore we change it to has been taken. Okay, it was taken, right? But because we have the participle form that they give us, the participle tense, right? So we use has been taken by the police as evidence of the crime. Okay, let's go to the next question over here. Question number 3. He was punished severely as he refused to apologize for his offense. Okay, resulted in. Okay, resulted in is the effect, right? Okay, so this is the cause and this is the effect. Okay, this is the cause and this is the effect. So because he did this, which is what led to him being punished severely. So what would the answer be for this question over here? He punished severely and refused to apologize for his offense. Okay, we have to change something to a noun form. Okay, so I give you a hint. Right, resulted in him being severely punished. Okay, this is the second part of the sentence. So I want you to tell me what is the answer for the first half of the sentence over here. Okay, so we have to change refused, right, to refusal. Okay, so let's answer this question together. His refusal to apologize for his offense resulted in him being severely punished. Okay, so because of his refusal to apologize, right, it caused him to be severely punished. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Did you revise your work last night, Jeremy? Asked Mr. Goh. So Mr. Goh asked Jeremy. Okay, we are converting direct speech to indirect speech. Okay, so this is also a very commonly tested PSLE question, right? Okay, so I'll write it down over here. It's a commonly tested PSLE question, right? So what would the answer be for question number 4, right? Mr. Goh asked Jeremy if. Okay, so we have to take note of some clues over here. Okay, what things do we need to change in this sentence, especially when we are looking at direct speech? Okay, you see the inverted commas, we have to remove them, right? So we remove the inverted commas, we add if, right? So did is past tense, so we have to change it to past perfect tense. Okay, take note, we have to change it to past perfect. And for this, we have to say the previous night. Okay, because it's not last night anymore, right? It's only last night in the context of their conversation. However, it's not the last night from today, right? So if he asked this last year, we cannot convert it to still being last night because that would mean that the context differs. So we have to say the previous night. Okay, hi Mei Mei. Okay, let's try this question together. Converting direct speech to indirect speech. Okay, so Mr. Goh asked Jeremy if he had. Okay, past perfect form, right? So if he had. Oh, your neighbor's kid is watching too, taking PSLE. I see. I hope this will be helpful. Right? Hello. Feel free to answer if you feel like this question actually is helpful. You can actually try doing the question along with us, right? So answering can actually help you in your revision as well, right? Keeps your brain moving. So just type in the comments below when you feel like, oh, you know the answer. Even if you are unsure, you can feel free to actually just submit your answer and I will tell you and explain along the way as well. Okay, so by doing this, it's actually a good practice for us because this is actually a 1000 synthesis and transformation practice paper for PSLE students, right? It's actually an ebook, a product of ours. So if you're interested in purchasing, you can feel free to let me know as well. Right, so we are featuring this ebook over here. Yes. Okay, this ebook from our ebook store. You can actually head to our link in bio to see. Right, we have a lot of PSLE resources for you. So this is our primary school papers. Okay, let's go to the primary section. And we are doing this 1000 PSLE synthesis and transformation questions. Okay, so yes, let's go back to the question over here. Okay, so can try answering together. So Mr. Goh asked Jeremy, right, because we have to change this to past perfect. So it will be if he had revised, right, if he had revised whose work, right? His work, because it's Jeremy's work, right? So we cannot use the direct form anymore. We have to change Jeremy. So you and your will change to his, right? His work the previous night. Okay, so this is how we change a direct speech to an indirect speech. Okay, bye bye. Thank you so much for joining our live as well. Right, we have daily live sessions, so you can feel free to join us anytime you want. Okay, so let's go on to question number 5. The princess entered the dance hall grandly. Okay, the princess made a blank. Okay, so this is a starting of the sentence that they changed the sequence for us, right? So instead of using entered, she made something. Okay, we have to change the entering to a noun form. Okay, so she made a something grandly, right? So this is an adverb that describes this over here. So we have to change it to a grand entrance. Okay, so what would the answer for question number 5 be? Okay, so the princess made a grand entrance. Okay, the princess made a grand entrance. Where? Okay, into the dance hall. Okay, so this is the answer for the question number 5. Okay, if there's no questions, let's go on to the next question over here. Okay, question number 1. Susan was ill, she went to school. Okay, in spite of. In spite of can be replaced by despite. Okay, it means that there is a contrast being shown. Okay, so does anyone want to try answering this question over here? Okay, so ill and going to school, this shows that there is a contrast. So our contrasting phrase is the conjunction that the question gives us, right? So let's try to start off with the first half of the sentence. Okay, so Susan, okay, we start with Susan, went to school. Okay, went to school. Why? Why did Susan go to school? Susan went to school although she was ill. Okay, yeah, papaya. There's a slight error over here because okay, maybe you're unable to see it or it's blocked over here. So the conjunction that they gave us for this synthesis and transformation question is actually in spite of. Okay, but I see your train of thought is on the correct path, right? We just need a slight tweak to your question. Cannot see. Oh, okay, let me just zoom out a little. Are you able to see now? Cannot see? You're unable to see from the screen, or is it too small for you to see?
Is she looking at the bottom or the top?
Mm. Cannot see the given word. On the top part of the screen? How about the top part of the screen? Okay, how about the top part over here? The given word. The in spite of. Oh, you couldn't see that word? Okay, was it because it's too small? Or do I have to zoom in further to be able to see it? Yes, yeah, papaya, there is on top. Oh, yes, yes. So these are separate screens. They're not the same screen. Okay, they're not connecting. Yes. Yes, I'm glad that you realized it. Yes. Okay, so yes, so are you able to see it now from the top of the screen? Okay, I'm pretty sure it's clearer, right? Okay, so yes, Susan went to school, right, in spite of something, right? We have to change was ill to a noun form. Okay, in spite of something. In spite of being ill. Okay, that is actually quite a considerable answer. I actually might accept that answer as well, right? In spite of her illness. That's the answer that I had in mind. But in spite of being ill, I can also accept that. That's an acceptable answer as well. Okay, so yes, let's go on to the next question over here. My brother does not like eating yogurt. My sister does not like eating yogurt either. Because was is a to be verb. Yes. Okay, so question number 2. You are able to change the ill to illness as well, right? In spite of her illness. Okay, but your answer is also an acceptable answer compared to the model answer. Okay, bye bye, Yaya Papaya. Okay, have a good day. Okay, let's go on to question number 2. My brother does not like eating yogurt. My sister does not like eating yogurt either. So we have to look at the repeated. Okay, does not like eating yogurt. Okay, neither of, right? Neither of. So what is the answer? Okay, my brother and my sister, who are they? How are they related? Okay, what are they called? How about sickness? Michael, oh, you are referring to the previous question, is it? Oops. Okay, let me go to this. Okay, sickness is unable to be accepted as the answer because the context that they gave us was the word ill. Okay, so we try not to change the context of ill to sickness. So sickness is not an acceptable answer in this case. But it's a good train of thought of changing from being sick to her sickness. Right? So if the question says Susan was sick, yes, then you can change it to sickness instead of illness. Okay, so neither of my siblings like eating yogurt. I have a brother and sister. Okay, Ting Jie, that is a very good answer. However, the latter part of the sentence is redundant, right? So we actually don't need to explain that I have a brother and a sister. So just neither of my siblings. So neither of my siblings likes. Okay, take note of the S over here because it's singular. Okay, likes eating yogurt. Okay, so neither of my siblings likes eating yogurt. Okay, take note of the S that we have to write after the like. Okay, because none of them, therefore it's singular form. Okay, you don't need to explain that I have a brother and sister. You can just put the full stop over here. Okay, but that's a good attempt for question number 2. Moving on to question number 3. Okay, once again, right, direct speech. Okay, this question, okay, commonly tested question. There'll be probably one question in PSLE that will be a direct to indirect speech or even indirect to direct speech. Unwell best word. Okay, Michael. It depends on what the question gives us as well, right? So, did you witness the accident along this road last night? The police officer asked Jenny. So, the police officer asked Jenny. Okay, let's look at the clues we have in the question again. Last night has to be changed to the previous night. Okay, last night changed to the previous night. Okay, and did. This means that it will be had witnessed. Okay, because this will be the past perfect form. Okay, since the question is already in past tense. Okay, therefore when we change it to indirect speech, it has to be in the past perfect form. So the police officer asked Jenny if she anyone wants to try answering question number 3. If she, right? Okay, and we also have to take note that this road will have to also be changed to the road. Okay, if she blank, right? So any answers, do need to take time to type out your answers in the comments. Okay, so the police officer asked Jenny if she... Okay, we changed last night to the previous night for direct speech to indirect speech. So we don't change it to yesterday evening, right? Because in indirect speech, we are reporting it to someone, right? So maybe this statement was said last year, but we are reporting this statement in indirect form. So if she had witnessed the accident along the road the previous night. Okay, so this is the correct answer, right? So the police officer asked Jenny if she had witnessed the accident along the road the previous night. Moving on to the next question. Right, question number 4. Terry had withdrawn from the basketball team. The coach was shocked. Okay, so this is the effect. Okay, because of what he did, right? So this is the cause and effect question. Oh, Michael, the night before. Okay, actually nowadays in school, the syllabus actually recommends the students to write the previous night instead of the night before. Right? So the day before, the night before, usually in the past maybe they still accept it, but now maybe they have strictened down to the rule that they can only accept the previous day or the previous night. Right? So it depends on your school teacher. So if your school teacher actually tells you, oh, they want you to do it in this manner, right, the previous night or the night before, right, can clarify them further as well. Yes. Okay, so maybe for the older syllabus in the past, right, they can accept more leniently. But nowadays, I think the MOE syllabus wants them to be more focused on a specific type of answer. Okay, so because this is the cause, we have to change this to withdrawal. Okay, the noun form of withdraw is withdrawal. That's why those students so stressed. Yes, probably, right? They are getting stricter in the syllabus as well. But actually they have lightened the students' workload by removing the mid-year exams as well. So maybe there's like tweaks around the syllabus for the students' learning, right, to make it better. Okay, so Terry, right? So the coach, right? So we write the effect first. The coach was shocked by Terry's withdrawal from the basketball team. Hello, Ozil. Oh my goodness. Yes, you finally arrived just before our life is going to end. Right, but it's okay. We still have a few questions to go through. Right. Thank you for joining the live as well. So let's do the last question together. So Rachel is very persistent. She has made a new swim record in the Youth Olympics. Okay, owing to her. So we have to change this to the noun form again, right? Owing to her. Yes, persistent noun form is persistence. Okay, owing to her persistence, Rachel. What did Rachel do? Okay, Rachel has made a new swim record in the Youth Olympics. Okay, Rachel has made a new swim record in the Youth Olympics. Okay, so we keep the context and we actually make sure that we spell this following the question word by word. Okay, so for this case, Youth Olympics is spelled with a capital Y and capital O. So try to answer it with a capital Y and O as well to play safe, because some teachers might mark it down because you didn't follow the sentence structure or the format of the question. Okay, so yes. Okay, and that is all for the live, right? So if you want to get this ebook over here, you can actually head to our TikTok link in bio. So you can just head to this our homepage and you can click on the link tree over here. Alright, just click on the link tree over here and you can scroll down to our ebook store. So by scrolling down to the ebook store, you can actually browse through our products. So what we have new over here is also the 1200 PSLE grammar and vocabulary questions. It's one of our latest releases along with the phrasal verbs ebook. So you can get them as a bundle to enjoy 20% off the usual price. As well as this pre-order sale for the phrasal verbs ebook, right, you can get it at 20% off. And for the worksheet that we actually did just now, right, during this live, is actually our primary collection of 1000 series, right? So we have a lot of targeted practice worksheets. I'm broke. Ozil, we have secondary school practices as well, right, Ozil? So let me show you the secondary level ebooks, right? You can actually buy the O level oral model responses over here, or if you want to actually revise more on your O level essays, right, and you don't know how to, you can buy our model essays to refer to. They give you a lot of new phrases, new vocabulary, and ideas on your structuring of your paragraphs and your essays. So they have model discursive, descriptive, argumentative essays as well. So if you would like to actually buy something to refer to when you are studying for your O levels, this is actually a good recommendation that you should get, right, to help with your revision. And for your oral, right, this is a product that you can use. It has a that comes along with the ebook as well, so you can actually follow the model responses in the ebook and say it out in the karaoke style videos. Okay, so what we did just now was the synthesis and transformation practice. There are 1000 questions of the synthesis and transformation ebook. So you can either print it out or do it online, right? It's actually up to you on your personal preference. And once you purchase it, it will be sent to you via like a PDF. You can not send to you, but you can access it via this website in PDF format. So you can download the worksheet and print it out if you feel like doing it on hard copy. Okay, so yes, that is all for the live today. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.